They're down and one. Ball's on the ground.
What if I told you the Washington Commanders was one snap away from being 4-2? And on the other hand, what if I told you this same exact snap was the second the Washington Commanders season ended? In today's video, we're going to take a look back at the night that ended the Washington Commanders 2025 season. Let's talk about it.
Shout out to Juan Talking Sports. You know what it is.
Shout out Juan Talking Sports.
Stop saying my name, you dick riding bastard. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she cry for him, and shawty is the winner. You can tell that shawty love again now. She's confident.
The Washington Commanders season got off to a rocky start with injuries to two of their biggest players, Terry McLaurin and Jaden Daniels. With those guys out of the lineup, it prevented Washington from getting off to the fast start that they were hoping for. That being said, they were able to weather the storm somewhat. Without Daniels and McLaurin, this team was still able to get to a 2-2 start. And with the better defensive performance, you can argue the team should have won that game in Atlanta. But I went to it and I really want to forget about it because I was sick. So you fast forward to week 5. Jaden Daniels is cleared to play and the Washington Commanders are set to go on the road and face the Los Angeles Chargers. For the first time in a few weeks, we get to see our franchise guy back out there. And although the game started off slow for the Burgundy and Gold, once Jaden Daniels made a wardrobe change, it seemed like that's when things started to click for him and his offense. With the Washington Commanders offense being able to score multiple possessions in that game, and also with the self-inflicted wounds by the Los Angeles Chargers, the Washington Commanders were able to win that game and win it convincingly.
Hey, my guy's a shot.
Man, that was wild.
Gave the best ball possible and we came out with a dub.
Comes down to one last play. And it's going to be getting longer by the second. You're all the way back at the 30-yard line. Now you can step into it. Here comes the Hail Mary with the game on the line.
Before we get any further into today's video, I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, SeatGeek. If you're trying to go to a game, concert, or any live event, SeatGeek is the place to go. I actually got my tickets for week 1 against the New York Giants using SeatGeek, and honestly, I use it for all my event purchases. What I love about SeatGeek is how simple it is to find the best deals. They rate every seat on a scale from green to red. Green means you're getting a great deal. Red means it's a little overpriced. That way you know you're buying with confidence and getting your money's worth. Plus, they even offer protection ticket plans so you don't have to worry about your tickets getting lost or stolen. And the best part about it all is they're hooking y'all up with the code. Use Juan Gotti at checkout and you'll get 10% off your first purchase. Again, use code Juan Gotti at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase. Now it's week 6. Jaden Daniels versus Caleb Williams, part 2. Washington versus Chicago, part 2. And remember how last year went with Washington winning with the walk-off Hail Mary. We were looking to win again, but this time in a much more convincing fashion. But I guess it's true what they say, karma is truly a bitch. Or that get back is truly a mother effer. And just how they say the Washington Commanders ended the Chicago Bears season last year after our game, I guess the roles were reversed. Because after we lost to the Chicago Bears, the Washington Commanders have not won a game since. And what makes that even more infuriating is the fact that the Chicago Bears last year, when we won without Hail Mary, at least we had to make a play. The Chicago Bears, all they had to do was sit back and let us self-destruct, and that is literally what happened, and that's why we lost. Jaden Daniels rarely makes a mistake. Am I saying he's perfect? No, but what I'm saying is that is not something that you typically see out of Jaden Daniels. Typically, he's locked in, he's ready to rock and roll. He just lost focus, and in that split second of him losing focus and bobbling the snap and fumbling the football and we losing the game, that is the end of the Washington Commanders 2025 season. And guess what? I was at that game too. So I guess it's safe to say I'm bad luck, because every game I've been to this season stands for the New York game week 1. We have lost. And although we were frustrated leaving that game Monday night because the way we lost was just horrible, Washington still was in a spot where it's like the season ain't gonna fall off the rails. We're 3-3 at that point. We're good, right? You couldn't have told me that's the last time up until present day I was gonna see my team get a victory, right?
Bears win it. Jake Moody, a hero tonight. Offense is looking great. Picked. Marcus Mariota.
Morin in overtime.
Well, Juan, I hate to break it to you, my brother, but your team has not won a game since that Week 5 contest versus the Los Angeles Chargers. And it's so funny because after that Chargers game, we started to talk about how things felt normal again. We started to talk about how we can go on this run, get some guys healthy, and boy, were we wrong. Because the Chicago Bears did some type of voodoo on us and said, hey, we about to flip roles. We're going to be the 2024 version of y'all, and you're going to be the 2024 version of us. After that Chicago Bears loss, the Washington Commanders have lost 6 straight games and have continued to battle injuries when Jaden Daniels suffered 2 injuries, 1 to his knee, and then the big blow on Sunday Night Football against the Seattle Seahawks where he dislocated his elbow. And since then, we still have not seen Noah Brown. And as if the 6-game losing streak wasn't bad enough, the Washington Commanders has put out one of the worst defensive performances I've ever seen in my life. So much so that I think myself and 10 of you guys out there can go out and put up 20+ points on this defense. It got to a point where Dan Quinn, yes, head coach Dan Quinn, had to step in and demote his guy Joe Witt Jr. Because if you look at these 6 games Washington has played, we have not been close in any of them besides Miami. You look at the Chicago Bears game, that's the last time that we were legitly in these games competitively, and that it actually mattered, I should say, because we were technically competitive in the Miami game, but clearly neither one of those teams are going anywhere. So the last time Washington was truly in a game when it mattered was the Chicago Bears game, and yeah, we seen how that went. Defense was just as bad in this game as it's been in any other one. God, get Quan Martin off my team. I can't take it anymore. Jartavis, I should say. He don't get no cool nicknames no more. The Washington Commanders are currently in a very sticky situation because on one hand we sit at 3-8, and I get a lot of the fan base wants this team to tank for a high draft pick, but on the other hand I truly don't want to see this team tank. It's not like we're in a position where if we tank we're getting a top quarterback. We already have our guy. So I ask the people that want us to tank, for who exactly? For what exactly? You want to draft Chase Young at 2, or you want to draft Jahan Dotson at 16? The point that I'm getting at is it really doesn't matter where you pick at, because if you don't have the general manager that can go out and find some good players, it really doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, I may look back on this time period and thank Chicago for ending our season, because in the moment it sucks, but hindsight, this may be what we need to actually catapult our team into a beast. Now Juan, why do you say that? I say that because no, I'm not against winning. Had we turned out to have another great year like we were supposed to have on paper, I'm not going to be talking like this. But now that we're not, you got to look at it in some type of positive light. We're going to potentially be in a position to draft a top 5 player if we do end up being that bad. And again, it doesn't guarantee you to draft a beast like Myles Garrett or anything like that. But on the other hand, if we do have to end up picking 14, 15 because we end up going on a little late season run, it puts you in a predicament to where you actually get to see if Adam Peters is this draft guru or not. And the reason why I'm putting him kind of square focused in the middle, because at the end of the day, he is the guy that's going to make these decisions come draft night. And when you look at a team like the Los Angeles Rams, they're one of the best, most well-ran organizations in the entire NFL, and they wouldn't stretch without their first-round picks. So Sean McVay and Les Snead had to put their thinking caps on and hit in the middle to late rounds of the draft, and that's what exactly they did. did. Puka Nacua isn't a first-round draft pick, but he's a stud. Braden Fisk isn't a first-round draft pick, but he's a stud. Quinn Lake isn't a first-round draft pick, but he's a stud. I can go on and on. That team is amazing because of what they're able to do in middle to late rounds of the draft and also free agents, i.e. our former guy Cam Curl. So essentially what I'm saying is the Washington Commanders season ended versus the Chicago Bears. Whether you want to give them credit and say they ended it, or you can even say we self-inflicted and ended our own season, it really doesn't matter because we're 3-8 regardless of the fact. But truthfully be told, ladies and gentlemen, I genuinely think this is a one-off season. I don't think this defines who we are in the future. Again, we have direction. We're not your typical 3-2-1 win team like Tennessee, like Las Vegas. We have a quarterback. We have a head coach. We have a general manager that we believe in. Like, this team is going to be back to winning ways next year once everybody gets back healthy and once we make some very, very key off-season moves. But hey, at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's karma. It's payback. Whatever you want to look at it as, man. The Chicago Bears got us, and it's going to be okay because the Chicago Bears going to end up losing in wild card weekend if they do make the playoffs, because the way that they're winning is very much like how we was last year, but just less interesting, if you say the least, because at least we were actually hooping offensively. At least we had some blowout wins in there, you know, sprinkled out through our schedule. They're just winning by the skin of their teeth, but I can't hate. A win is a win, and at the end of the day, Chicago, y'all ended our season, and it is what it is. So that being said, as always, me and boy Juan Gotti, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 12,000 subscribers. We greatly appreciate if you reach that goal as soon as possible. Let me know if you guys want to see more videos like this down below in the comment section. I'll catch you later. I'm out. Peace.
Never gave a fuck, ballin' like I'm D-Sean, throw the bomb, G. That's IG, my jersey never seen a lawn.